All right. We did it.
That was a rough day.
We planted potatoes. So, what have we been up to?
Just running around trying to get this garden done.
Yeah.
Chasing after chickens.
Yeah, it feels like we're way behind, but we're really not behind at all. We're actually ahead on pretty much everything. Last year, the first thing we planted was potatoes right about now in the year. But we've already planted, well, we did some garlic from last year, and some of that made it. But we've already planted onions, radishes, carrots,
beets,
rutabaga. I don't know. Did we do any rutabaga? No rutabaga.
For one thing. Beets. Yeah. Turnips, kohlrabi. You say cabbage?
I did not
broccoli,
say cabbage or broccoli.
Peas.
And peas, yeah.
So we've got 11 40-foot rows planted right now of spring stuff.
Whereas last year we had 1.5 rows of potatoes planted by now. So we are ahead of the game, even though it feels like we're a little behind. Because it always feels like you're behind when you have a ton of work to do. But we're doing a good job.
We're also doing a lot of other prep this year by adding the drip lines ahead of time to all the rows, by adding the weed fabric to all the rows, because we learned our lessons last year about weeds and water. So we're trying to get ahead of that now instead of playing catch up the whole summer. So
weeds and water, that's a good title for a video, because that was our two biggest issues last year out of everything. We didn't have any issues with fertilization, we didn't have any issues with weather,
backs
other than water. We had issues with backs. That was a big issue. That's true. Weeds, water, and waste. I don't know.
waste.
My hip was involved.
I know. So. I just thought W-A-S-T-E, not W-A-I.
Waste. Well, we did waste a lot because of my waist.
There was waste because of the waste. So.
Yeah, my waist pain. But we had a lot of successes last year, though, and but this year we're on a better trajectory. You've done a much better job with our seedlings than I did last year, maintaining them. And so having your focus here has been really good. So the seedlings look a lot better. We up-potted a bunch of them last night.
Yeah, he was out there like in the dark trying to get the soil on the plants.
Yeah.
I was like, how can you see that?
I couldn't see it. I felt it in my soul. It was me and the plants were one. It's in my DNA.
It's under your nails.
It's under my nails, yes. Now it's embedded in my DNA.
Your DNA.
But, so we've got half of our first bed covered in weed fabric. And we're going to cover the second half. We had to get some more landscape staples. And so those are coming tomorrow. And we got some other stuff coming tomorrow too. And we still have a whole other bed to prep. But we've got our third bed completely prepped, ready to be planted whenever we're ready. We've got our spring plot completely planted at this point. With potatoes was the last thing. Well, I'm sorry, take that back. Everything but lettuce. So we've got one more thing to do. It's always one more thing. Nothing can ever be finished.
Never 100%.
And then we've got our peas on the other side. What are we putting on the other side of this trellis over here?
We're gonna do like winter squash and gourds and maybe some melons and stuff.
On that side over there, where the spring vegetables are? Okay. What are our plans with the spring garden after we're done with it?
And I think I'm trying to be flexible with that. I think it's going to kind of be like my flex space. I do have a couple rotational rows already built into two of the beds for like beans and squash and zucchini and stuff like that. But I think with the spring bed, as things come up, probably the potatoes mainly, and we finish doing corn in the fourth bed. That's number 4. Is that bed number 4?
It's bed number 3.
And bed number 3. This is confusing. So we have it blocked out to use bed number 3 for corn for portions of it, but we want to rotate and do several like successions of corn if we can help it. So once things are up there, then we might do succession plantings of corn.
planting.
Might even do like some of the fun corn then, like the popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
The glass gem corn. So
Yeah, so we've got 8 rows on a half a plot, so about 1,000 square feet for corn that we're going to do 2 plantings of. So 500 square feet of one box of corn, and then we're going to have another planting just slightly after, or what we're going to try to do is stagger it based off the maturity date of the corn, so that we can not have them cross-pollinate with each other.
Right.
Is the main reason for that. So we're going to plant a first succession and a second one here in spring.
Yeah.
And then I guess after our spring plants are done, we can plant a fall planting of corn if we so desire.
Yeah, my thought process behind that is to break it up into smaller blocks, but several successions. Last year we did half of one of our what is this called? Plots. Half of one of our plots, right? So that was 40 by 25 was corn. And that was way too much corn for us to eat, to harvest, and to preserve. So we're doing half of that now, which is a quarter of a plot.
Right.
Yeah. Right?
Well, at a time.
Yeah, at a time.
Yeah.
So a quarter of a plot, succession plant, a quarter of a plot, and then just keep.
They'll be growing at the same time, but they won't all need to be picked at the same time. Which we probably could have handled last year if I didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Honestly, but it was a ton to process, and we want to have controlled process throughout the year too. It's also just nice to be able to have sweet corn throughout the growing season instead of just one big picking of corn.
So we both like corn, but there's only so much fresh corn we can eat.
Right. But also corn is one of those things too that it takes a lot of land to grow corn.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something you can really do high intensity corn. I mean, you can probably, but it usually takes a lot of space to produce a small amount of fruit. So each corn plant will produce 1 or 2 ears of corn. Mm-hmm. And like a squash plant though will produce 1,000 pounds of squash.
Right. It feels like
so 2 cobs of corn, ears of corn, or 1,000 squash. You can pick, but we like corn, so we want corn. But that's the way it is. I mean, it's okra too will grow a ton of okra per plant, but corn it grows up to a certain point, it seeds, and that's what you eat.
Yeah. Okra was one of our first unintentional high intensity plantings. At our old house, we had just a couple raised garden beds, and in the backyard we had built all these garden beds, and then realized afterwards that they didn't get any sun except for like a 2 by 2 square foot plot at the end of one of those raised garden beds, 2 feet by 2 feet.
Yeah.
And so you had like 10 okra plants. Not
yeah,
maybe not, but like 6 or 7, right?
No, it was about 10. Yeah,
in that little plot.
Yeah, it is in about a 3 by 3 foot plot. I had about 10 or maybe even more okra plants, and it got sun, partial sun from about 10 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's all the sun it got.
Yeah.
And it grew. I mean, I don't know, it needed to be warm, but it was trying to grow up.
Yeah, and our counter was full of okra all summer. So
yeah, it really didn't take much.
It worked.
And so we've always liked okra, and we like grilling it out in the summer. So
that is something we're changing up this year too. Last year we did 3 rows of okra, 3 40-foot rows of okra. We still have plenty of okra in our freezer.
We're still doing 2 rows this year.
Well, I'm gonna do 1 and then like wait a month and do a second one.
we'll talk about that. Because here's the problem. They produce till the end of the year, so I don't need a succession planting.
I know, but I'm short and I can't reach. Are you gonna cut them? I guess you should cut them anyways.
Yeah.
Well, all right. We'll just do 2 at the same time.
Yeah, just go ahead and do 2. They produce all the time anyway. Just keep them going. Just keep it going.
2 rows of okra.
Yeah, well, that's what we actually used last year when we were doing it.
Yeah.
And we want to grow more than we need this
Yeah.
year. And 2 rows will be more than we need.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'll be fine to grow 2. 3, I never even touched the 3rd row.
Yeah.
I could never
Really.
get through the 2nd.
We need to
row
cut
and-
those leaves better this year.
Yeah.
Knock them back. And I think last year we learned too that we tried a bunch of different varieties of okra, and I think we both really just prefer the Clemson spineless
Yeah.
over all the other ones.
You know,
So-
once we get an established method, I think, for how we're doing this whole garden, and we can focus on certain things, we'll try fancy varieties
Mhm.
of, you know, okra and stuff like that. And we tried it last year, and we grew fancy varieties, but I think we had too many different things to focus on with that. We just want okra. We just want production this year.
Poundage.
Yeah, and especially,
Wait.
you know, we want to grow food this year. I mean, this year is a big year for everybody for high food costs, it seems. So the more we grow, the more money we save.
Yeah. I'm
And
tired of spending so much at the grocery store.
yeah,
So,
we're going to, for every okra we grow that we can eat and isn't just pretty, you know, we'll save money.
mhm.
Money which we're spending, but not spending to some, you know, ridiculous inflation cost. It's in our own
Yeah,
pockets.
we're
you know?
investing in ourselves,
Right.
right?
So, you know, and we'll produce more than we need, and we're going to try to share a bunch with our neighbors and stuff like that too, if we can. That's always been kind of a goal of mine, is to be able to share with people, produce more than you need, and share with others. So, especially when you've got a garden as big as we have, we don't need all this. We could probably feed ourselves off of one of these plots, maybe 2
Mhm.
for the year.
Right. You just have fun with it though.
Yeah, we just like
Nice.
gardening. You know, it's our neighbors and stuff, they're all hunters, and I'm not a big avid hunter or anything. And yeah, I might get into it, I kind of want to, but I realize it's just not my thing. You know,
Except when he sees turkeys on the field.
except for when I see turkeys.
He's like, I'm gonna get that
I'm going
turkey.
to get one of them turkeys. Because they just keep hanging around. They keep hanging around like I can't kill them.
hmm
Taunting me. Like this rabbit over here keeps taunting me.
Yep.
You know, one thing we have not, this is our 2nd year with this garden. So last year, I think we snuck in here and the wildlife didn't quite get it. You know, they're like, wait a minute, this has been a hayfield for the last 40 years, 50 years plus. What is all this stuff now?
hmm
And now I think they're probably catching on. Hey, there might be some food
Yeah.
sources over there. So I expect us to have more pest and predator damage to our
Yeah.
garden this year from rabbits and other things.
We'll see. I mean, honestly, we expected the worst last year. We thought that everything was just going to get destroyed. Anything we planted was just going to be gone. I think the worst pest, like animal pressure we had, was the crows eating the corn
Yeah.
seedlings. That was it. I didn't see any bites taken out of any of my lettuces or any of that. You
Yeah.
know, even they always say, like, we had ended up leaving the corn standing longer. The corn that wasn't good anymore, is too late to pull off. We left that, and everyone's like, oh, don't leave corn up like that. The raccoons are going to get in there and go crazy, and the deer and everything else. And I didn't see any of that. So,
Yeah. You know, if they
I'm
did,
just gonna be
we'll know.
optimistic.
We'll find out this year.
yeah.
Um,
Well, I think we'll also be able to be out in the garden more this year, too. So our presence will be known.
and we added all these fancy lights. All these solar lights that we're hoping will distract things, because a lot of wildlife like that does not like to be around anything that's lit. So if you've got motion detector lights, you put them around. I bought a few of those, and we've got some lights on our trellises that might just be enough to freak them out. and say, I'm not going to mess with that. There might be people
Yeah.
over there.
Either that or they're going to think they have been invited to a Hallmark Christmas special
Could be.
or a sacrificial.
Yeah, it does look
Event.
kind of sacrificial out here. We got
They're
these-
like, oh no.
we need to add
We're
more
not going
lights,
there.
for sure. Yeah.
And
Looks-
we've got motion detecting lights. We've got little solar lights that look like flames, and then we've got the ones on the trellis that sparkle and twinkle and change patterns. So
Yeah.
we like our lights.
But we still have the electric fence. We still have, ways to stop most predators from getting in. That electric fence does nothing for rabbits, though. But I have not seen rabbits.
Not
yet.
inside the fence.
I haven't seen any rabbit pellets or
Mm-mm.
evidence of rabbits inside this fence.
And
I've
we
seen
know
them.
there's rabbits that live here,
I've seen them
all
right
around the
outside the
outside.
fence.
But not
I've
inside
seen
the
them,
fence.
But not inside of it.
So
Of course, that doesn't mean they won't find it, but
Right.
I think part of it is we have a ton of predatory birds around here, hawks, and I think the rabbits know not to get too far from forage
Right.
or from cover.
yeah,
And there's nothing in here. Now, once this is grown up, there will
Maybe.
be cover in here, and they
safe
can run into it.
spots.
But we'll take care of that when it happens.
Yeah.
We got some.
We will, huh?
We'll
Okay.
take care of it. I mean, there's multiple ways to take care of it, so
Mhm.
we'll see.
You gonna trap it and make it your pet?
We could trap it and just start breeding them. Get a few of them.
Like, I just want you for your poo.
Just a farm of wild rabbits.
Yeah,
We could do it. Hey,
I ain't touching them.
why not?
Because you're gonna be mean.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Bite my fingertips off.
Once I domesticate them.
Mm, okay.
You gotta lasso them. Put a saddle on them and break them in.
I'd like to see that.
Get Tegan out here. We'll domesticate them.
Tegan, our dog.
We'll scare them. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we have any of that this year. We will have Japanese beetles. We will have squash bugs. We know that.
Those are the two worst, I think, last year.
Yeah, the Japanese beetles did some damage to. They would eat some of the leaves, but they didn't really kill any of the
Yeah.
plants. They just did, some superficial damage. Maybe stunted them a little bit, but it didn't stop the plants from growing. And even sometimes that's not a bad thing to have a little bit of damage on your plants, because it'll actually
Makes them
promote
fight
growth.
for a little more.
Yeah, they basically are fighting to survive, and they'll start growing even more. But squash bugs will just decimate plants. So
Yeah, we got a plan for that too. So
Yeah.
we'll show you all that.
but we've got chickens this year, so we're looking at Japanese beetles as a positive problem. So we're going to have an endless supply of beetles for our chicks. And so they're going to just be living off of bugs. Because you also got to think with us too, we've got 19 chicks now. We had another one pass, unfortunately. We've got 19 of them. We've got 7 cleared acres in this field in which they can forage. They're not going to free range.
Yeah.
We're going to have them protected, but they're going to have all the grasshoppers, all the beetles, all the grubs they can find,
Mhm.
and they're everywhere. So
Yeah, the other day he was tilling up the row right in front of us, and he had grabbed a bunch of the grubs. We think the Japanese beetle grubs that were in the ground. And he went over. These chicks are like not even a week old, but he sprinkled a couple of them in there. They lost their minds.
yeah,
It was like the best thing ever that has ever happened to them. I think, other than being born. And even then, this may have been more exciting.
oh, I'm
They
sure.
just loved those grubs. So, in a couple weeks here, I'm going to start taking them outside, letting them enjoy some grass. And I think they're going to like that too.
It'll be interesting for sure.
We just have to find a way to contain them.
Yeah, we just want them to have a good life and do what chickens do. Isn't that a Joel Salatin let the chicken,
the chickenness of the chicken.
the chickenness of the chicken. So,
Yep.
you
Let them
know,
be chickens.
when chickens are born, if they're born in the wild, which are really not, but they walk around and they forage with their mother, and so we're their mother hens, and so we're gonna let them forage a little bit and protect them, and you know, just let them live a good life.
Yep.
And so that they'll give us eggs next year. Some this year probably, but next year really is when we expect a lot. But we'll get more next year too. So we're gonna have some livestock as long as we can afford the feed. It is amazing how much little chicks eat. They eat.
It's like a quarter day. They waste a lot though too. They really scratch it into their bedding, but then they'll go back and try and eat it too. So
yep,
they'll take it.
And then they scratch their bedding into their water. But
it's a mess.
It's a mess, but it's really not that bad, honestly.
They're adorable though.
They are. We watch them all the time, and then we have to apologize to the dogs because we don't give them as much attention.
Or any chicken nuggets.
Or any chicken nuggets.
All they want is one live chicken nugget each.
Just one chicken nugget. They're like, you got 19 of them in there. You can spare a couple.
We've got them in the back bedroom. There's a fly crawling. Okay. We've got them in the back bedroom. Jesus Christ.
It's an ant.
Oh, an ant. Yeah, it's got wings. We've got them in our back bedroom, and the dogs always stay up in the front part of our house. So we brought them back a couple of days ago, and I was holding one and just let our oldest, she's 15, look at it, and she gave it a lick, and I swear her next move was just to take a chomp out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, no more licking for you. Yeah. You're coming with me.
She immediately was like, how do I get in that box?
Great.
I need to get in that box.
I want to be in that box.
But luckily she's too old to jump.
No.
So.
She'd probably try though. She got excited enough.
Yeah,
she just belly flop into the chickens. So
yeah.
It'd be a mess.
Yeah, it was one lick and you could just see her eyes light up.
Yep.
Dogs.
But it's been an exciting spring so far. Like Danny said at the beginning, you know, we in our heads we feel like we're behind. Like we feel like we gotta go, but honestly, we're pretty close to finishing garden prep, and along the way, we've also planted a quarter of it with our spring vegetables. So we're doing good, and I think the warmer weather and everything greening up, and all of these beautiful cherry trees behind us blossoming is giving us energy and making us feel like we're here. We're in the season. It's happening, right. And it's making us excited. We've already gotten a couple sunburns, so it started.
Gonna get a little more tan.
Yep, we're gonna start having our tan fights where I always
you're
lose.
Not very far off, honestly, right now.
I know. I'm surprised. Actually.
My hands are dark.
But your hands are dirty.
Well, that's true too. But they're also dark as well.
Sweet.
Yeah, the days are getting longer too, so it gives us more time to do a lot of this stuff. Whereas in the winter, by the time you're done waking up, it's dusk. So
yeah, I'm much happier when the days end at 8 instead of at 5. Yeah. He's not, because I don't make him dinner, but it's all right. Just hang out outside.
It's okay. But yeah, still got a lot of cleaning up to do, and it's a ton of work just to get it started, and then you have the maintenance of the season. And so, we're already seeing weeds start to grow and grass growing, so we gotta do our due diligence and get it all up. I'm looking at it right now. Can't stand it.
But that's all right, because it's gonna be covered by weed fabric.
I know, but I still don't trust them.
You don't trust them.
Figure this grass will find a way to grow through that weed fabric.
No, it won't. It did good last year, where we used it.
Yeah. But I'm ready to get it to where we can just kind of sit out here and enjoy it too. We've been doing just the hard work portion of this, and we've got to get to a point where we can just do the sit and enjoy it phase. And
I've been doing the sitting and enjoying while you do the hard work.
I know. I know.
Not my fault. I don't know how to run a tiller.
I gotta clean up this dang mess.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Don't know how to run a tiller.
Don't know how.
It's the easiest tiller
Nope.
ever.
Don't know how. Don't know how.
That's fine. I don't know how to wash dishes either.
I know you don't.
Then I guess we're even.
Yeah, that's what it is.
We're even. Oh, it is so nice out right now, though. All right. So we are going to probably sit out here for a little bit longer, at least I am. And I'm going to work on this shed a little bit more, but we wanted to let you guys go. We just wanted to kind of talk with you guys for a little bit about what we've been up to and what we're going to be doing. And we're ready for this year, excited for it. We're enjoying doing the work, but we know that the fun part comes when we get to see this thing just be
Yeah.
so green and beautiful and full of vegetables. So
Waiting all winter for this. This is what we wanted, right?
that's
Keep
it.
saying that every time we're out there hot and sweaty and tired. Like, this is what we wanted. This is what we've been waiting for. But we got it.
Yeah.
Lucky us, right?
And we're trying to do everything we can to make it where the hard stuff we're doing now,
Mhm.
not when it's really
Yeah.
hot.
100 degrees and 100% humidity.
Yeah. But we're doing better than we did last year, and
Yeah.
we're going to continue doing that.
That's all you gotta do. You don't gotta be
That's it.
perfect. Just try to be a little bit better.
Yep.
And even if you can't be better, try and learn something from what you're doing or what you did.
Yeah.
So that's all you gotta do.
We learned a lot.
Hmm. And we've already learned lessons this spring, even before we even gotten things planted.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep learning. Nothing's gonna be 100% perfect and successful, but we'll figure it out.
We will figure it out. We ain't got nothing else to do but
Sure
figure
don't.
it out. So,
That's it.
all right, y'all. Y'all take it easy, and we'll see you on the other side.
Have a good one.
Bye.